Good morning, day one. We're shooting Woman of the League this week. We're in Hermosa Beach. This is actually going to be the set, but we're going to take you along Monday through Friday as we shoot this unbelievable show, one of our biggest tentpole shows for Stay Doubted. My wife co-founded the company with me, so to be able to produce a woman empowerment focused show like Woman of the League is pretty sweet. So come along, see what it was like building the show.
Welcome to episode 1 of Women of the League Producers Cut. This is a podcast specifically designed to bring you behind the scenes of our new series called Women of the League. I'm your host, Mitch Gerber, alongside Santino Stancato.
What up?
Mike Jones.
What up?
And Hannah Jones.
Hello.
All right, so quick little explanation as to what this podcast will be. It's going to be probably about a 6-part series that will go pretty in-depth behind the scenes. We're going to pull back the curtain and talk about Women of the League, how it came to life, some of the things that are happening behind the scenes, specifically some of the conversations that took place, for example, today with the women that were on set, and then we'll kind of go from there. But let's start with Mike and the vision of Women of the League, how it got started, and how we are sitting here in Hermosa Beach, just outside of LA.
Cue the dramatic music.
Hermosa Beach. It's awesome view here, normally during the day, obviously. But, so Women of the League is one of our first major tentpole shows for Stay Doubted. Stay Doubted's goal, which is the publishing company above the show, is to create content at the intersection of athlete lifestyle and culture. And so for us, we want to reach fans that care more about some of the passion areas beyond the game. And so there's nothing better than that than to speak to some of the most prominent wives behind some of the most prominent athletes and hearing about their stories, the good, the bad, the ugly that comes with it. And so when Hannah and I were sitting down thinking about when we wanted to, bring a big show to air, what would be that and what would it look like? We've had a lot of conversation around like the media space tends to lean into dramatization, lean into this reality television world, and sell storylines that are just sometimes a little spun.
Fabricated
Not real,
in
some ways.
False.
And we just don't think that's needed anymore. Like, I think that authenticity wins. I think we're going to prove that we can drive viewership without creating fake storylines. We didn't script any of this. This is 5 wives around a table, and they're just having an open conversation. And so we're trying to redefine what media looks like, and that is what Women of the League is going to do. And that's what I'm sure when this is airing, it's already started to come out. So I guess we're talking into the future a little bit here. And we're fired up about it. The team has done an amazing job bringing it to where it is today. I think the selection of talent was impeccable, extremely biased. So take that. My beautiful wife, also co-founder of our company, was a big part of the selection. And we represent a few of the wives even on the show. So it's a great opportunity, and you two have done a lot to bring it to where it is today. And this table does not exist without y'all two.
Well, the table might exist, but
But it would still be downstairs.
The table would still be downstairs, and we would be crawling under it as we were this morning.
We'll get into that here in a second, but you mentioned the selection of the talent, and Hannah, obviously, you had a huge part in who was selected. How did you go about that process? And then describe to us who the people that listen to this podcast will see on the show.
Yeah, I think the main thing was just diversification in terms of situations within the NFL. Because while all of these ladies really do have a centralized connection, they do have diversity within their situations on their team, in the cities that they live in. So, for example, like Allison, who is actually on our roster, her and Isaac, her and her husband, they just went through a big situation where he made the 53-man roster, then he got cut from it, then he went on practice squad, now he's reactivated. So there's been that. Like Whitney, her and Dalton, they've been kind of stable in Denver. So like their living situation's a little more consistent, and kind of like I said with Kristen and Kim, it's just all in all just a really good group of ladies that have a lot of different perspectives within the NFL. So just diversification and experience was super, super important.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the way that you looked at it and saying we want to bring multiple perspectives to the table in terms of the experiences that they've had, their backgrounds, and also who they are beyond their husbands. You know, like Allie's big into interior design. Whitney has a jewelry line. I think one thing that would be interesting to talk about is the selection on the host. I think that was a big thing. Was we had 4 wives that we felt really confident about, but then we were transparently kind of behind the scenes going like, you know, the host is a big part of this. And so what, you know, you were the one that actually ultimately made the call on that. What was the reason why you went with Josie?
Yeah, our host is Josie Leinert, the wife of Matt Leinert. She kind of just brings, all in all, a very veteran, experienced point of view. Even though her and Matt was just exiting the NFL whenever they kind of met, but even though she hasn't been in the exact situation as these ladies, like living years and years in the NFL, I think she brings a really interesting perspective of life after. And that's like a really cool insight that she can bring, not to just the ladies at the table, but like to everyone listening as well, that there is life after the NFL. So, like I said, I just a veteran status, very experienced, like mom of 3, really cool point of view.
Yeah, when we sat down and we had a few names on the board of like who would be the host, and you were like, "Hey, what do you think about her?" And I, you know, one, she started in acting, and she had an acting career, very successful acting career, and then she got into, she's actually a sports attorney now, and so she's extraordinarily well spoken. You can see that in the show. Her ability to drive conversation is like you would expect any attorney to be. So
Former actress.
That's what I said. She started in acting.
Yeah.
So, just a really neat background, personality, and you know, Matt, you know, while he's not in the league anymore, obviously, he still lives a very NFL lifestyle in the sense that, you know, he's on the Fox Big Noon Kickoff show. That means he's on the road every weekend. And so she deals with similar struggles even today. And she has her own career and very successful. So I think it was a no-brainer when you put her on the board, and that's how we got to the 5 we have.
I think it's crazy to see how they've all come together, being so diverse and where they've come from and where they are today, and just like vibes straight from like
the
start.
Yeah,
having knowledge of each other just like from social media, and then we all went to dinner last night, and they literally all act like they've
been best friends for so
Yeah.
long, and they can already relate with one another. So
but I think that's the power of the actual NFL and the wives circle within the NFL, as well as social media. Just like you feel like you know someone without even meeting them in person.
Yeah, and a testament to who they really are.
For sure.
I'm sure there's times where, you know, you see something, they're an influencer or creator or whatever, and when you get to actually like see them,
They always say, "Don't meet your heroes."
Yeah, but I think it was Allie that might have said it last night, or someone said it last night, that like all of them are very much like girls, and they all are very like, they love to support other women. It's not like kind of a cattiness that sometimes can get misconstrued a little bit. So it's really cool that we were able to bring together this like very diverse group, and they kind of hit it off so well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like female empowerment is a huge part of this show, and I think you're going to see that in the first couple of episodes that were recorded today. But Josie asked this question to the talent that were on set, and I want to ask the 3 of you the same question. What is the significance behind Women in the League, and why is it important for you guys to be able to showcase this to the rest of society?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to it personally. You know, J1S is obviously the parent company above Stay Doubted, and that's a company that Hannah and I co-founded. And so one thing that's interesting in our situation personally is, I talk about this a lot. I have the CEO hat. I am looked at as the ultimate leader in these situations from the company perspective. But the reason why the company is where it is today is a lot to do with Hannah, who takes a seat as our chief talent officer. But a lot of times, so we always joke about this, a lot of resources are put around me, right? And Hannah sometimes has to take that back seat. But if you really, people that are close to the company, Centennial's our longest tenured employee, knows just how pivotal Hannah role, like really, like so it's sometimes it's, you know, and I'm humble enough to understand that, right? I get a lot of resources put around me in my situation, despite a lot of the work does get done on her side of the business. So I relate that, and the reason why I tie that back to the Women of the League is I think that's similar here, and that's why this one really resonated with me. Is like I have a wife first and a co-founder second that deserves a lot more credit for why our company has done what it's done over the last 3 years. But a lot of times the spotlight continues to stay on me when it should be shifted to what she has done as well. And I think this show resembles that, right? I think, you know, Isaac and Jeff and Jared and Matt, I'm sure even for Josie, and all of them have the spotlight put on them. But if you break down the walls behind the homes and you say, hey, hold up for a second, these are the women that are really the ones driving it every day. Like, they're the ones that are there when they get cut, when they get traded, when they lose. And we fall in love with your starting quarterback of your NFL team, but after they had a bad game, who's the first person they're calling? And it's usually these 5 wives around the table. And so that was the whole purpose, is to dive into that. And it's a little bit personal for us. And I think anytime in business when you can pull in some of the personal, cultural feelings that you have, it creates a show that's just way more powerful.
And I think it ties back to the overarching theme that kind of erupted from episode 1, which is these women are the backbone of their families.
This show, not a shocker, it's called Women of the League. So what does that mean to you guys? What does it mean to be a woman of the league?
I think we're the backbone. I think we hold the league together, really.
That theme just like kind of carried throughout the first episode, which was really cool, I thought. And so it's really like kind of giving a voice, which all of these women really already have a voice because they have a platform, but it's shifting their voice a little bit to focus more on their actual day-to-day life and not maybe their social media persona.
And putting them together is so powerful too, because they all are bringing so much to the table, and they do have all big platforms, and now you're just like bridging it all.
It's interesting if you really break down that statement that she made, and I felt like the whole room, I mean, just for context, like behind the cameras and everything, there's tons of lights and production. I mean, there's
lots of head nodding.
A lot of 20 plus people are in this room today watching it, and she makes that statement, and that statement was made in the first probably, you know, you can't tell on camera when it's cut down, but that was probably the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, easily.
And the whole room was like, oh shit.
Let's
Retweet.
go.
Yeah, this is why we're here.
Like, if this is what we get in the first 10 minutes, like this, well, how long are we shooting for?
75 minutes
75
to 90 minutes.
75 to 90 minutes, and it's cut down into the 30 minutes that you see. And that type of statement is made in the first 10 minutes. And it was like, damn.
Yeah, that's powerful. That was definitely powerful. I think we should, you talked about it, the lights and the cameras and the people. There's 20 plus people running around this place. We should pull back the curtain a little bit. And you've been the major driver in making sure all the production stuff is happening, making sure that the equipment's here, all that stuff. So you joked about the table off the top. Take us through Tablegate,
Tablegate.
Women of the League edition.
Let's block the entire way to get to the exit. You want to see what we have to do here? This is production. Well, welcome. Come on, good morning. 6 a.m. here. And, you know, we've been doing this for the last, 24 hours. It's a cool little trick, Can't go over, it's not it. You go under it. Ugh. Here we go.
I don't know. I think anytime you get like an opportunity like this to create content that is meaningful and as powerful as it is, you're obviously excited as someone who gets to help lead production of this magnitude. For me, I think this is, really cool because it's Stay Doubted's first like OG series that we're going to launch with, and you want to be part of these moments, and you want to build and make these things happen and come to life. And I think everybody that has help put this show together, top down, and bringing the talent here and even the events that we've had and it's special. So it's been obviously like a dream come true for me.
You can also just take some credit for what you do.
Seriously.
Santino is the most
humble.
deflector of all time. Like this man, he could have been the one that carried it up the stairs, and he'd been like, it was a team effort. No, Santino, there's not another person that touched the table.
We should actually paint the picture. So the picture is
The
there's
table?
this table right here that you're seeing on
it's
camera
bad.
right now, and there's a giant staircase. We'll put some footage on the camera of Mike having to crawl through the table right
Yeah, it was
now
bad.
at what 6 o'clock this morning.
Yeah.
6, yeah.
Yeah,
Starting
6
your
a.m.,
day,
starting
and
your day.
Mike is just like freaking table. Like,
It was bad.
Under this thing
Well,
at 6
first off,
a.m.
it's extremely dangerous from a fire standpoint. I was like, man, we're going to kill ourselves. I mean, literally, the house could start on fire, and the fire person's going to walk through the door and be like,
Chop down.
What?
Yeah, they would
chop
chop.
down
They would chop it down.
Chop down the table.
what are we doing? Who thought this was a good idea?
This is a very nice place, so there's multiple exits that
Yeah,
people
we
can
would
leave
find
from.
a
That's
way.
true.
Just the
true.
front door was not.
The front door was unusable. But
yes.
yeah, it was kind of like a Friends episode.
yeah, pivot.
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 It was bad.
Yeah.
I didn't actually get to see it get
I
brought up.
I did.
No, I didn't either, and I'm glad I wasn't.
was
I
the
would
only
be
one
so
here.
anxious.
I'm not gonna lie. I was pretty happy too. And Mike even said he's like, hey, if we have to spend the extra money to make sure we get some like big bulky men up in here to do it,
professional movers,
that's good.
please.
And what that means to me is don't touch the fucking table, because if I touch the table and it does topple, and it was one of us, I was like, oh, we're
done.
yeah,
Yes.
I was like,
Yes.
I was like that might be the line.
Yeah.
So
I did watch it. I think I was the only one here that was watching it come up. And my heart rate was
Skyrocket.
racing.
yeah,
Just
well, it's got
'cause-
to go back down now too. So
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
I'm not going to be here for that either.
yeah, that's brutal. But the set's unreal.
We'll see. I'll go step outside or on the balcony.
You killed it. Like Santino gets charged with some of the most challenging, tasks, and this show is not an easy one to put together, and it's definitely not easy when you talk about coordinating 5 NFL wives to get to a single location in a generalized spot that we can do it over a course of 4 days. I mean, it's just a lot of logistics that go into it.
yeah.
Yeah, and shout out to Bailey who really did
Sure.
do
Yeah,
a lot
Bailey's
of
offset
the
right now. Hey,
the
Bailey, come on.
talent.
Come on,
A lot
Bailey.
of the
Bailey.
Bailey,
talent
say some
words,
relations,
say
talent
some words.
communication.
Bailey.
Bailey did.
Hello.
There's Bailey. Bailey's awesome. She's on our state ID team and literally takes on a lot of the work that it took to bring this together. So huge shout out there.
And just to also give Mitch some credit at the table as well. He's going to sit here and he's going to host this podcast, and he's going to pretend like he hasn't had a huge part in bringing this together. But this type of show is his bread and butter. He's in the war room downstairs with 5 screens in front of him, just like producing
Like a kid in a
the
candy
shit
shop.
out of this
Thriving.
thing.
Kid in a candy shop. He's
Yes.
taking notes.
Yes.
I'm like texting him up front. He's like, "Don't worry, already got it."
Yeah, like
Literally
making
was
sure the
talking to
questions are
Josie.
good.
Yeah,
and-
talking to Josie this
Oh,
morning.
I mean,
like when she was getting
him
her
and
hair and
Josie
makeup
are
done.
best friends at this
Yes,
point.
yes.
It's unbelievable. He's killed it. So
I love the behind the scenes stuff. It's fun. So we got a little war room downstairs that's got
Love each
like
other
the
so much.
monitors.
We're so cute.
And yeah, so it's like chaos, organized chaos, but it's been fun so far.